So we're currently looking at Play Sounds View Controller. And what I've done here is that I've taken this pseudocode that we created in the previous video, and I've converted it into real code here. Let me walk you through it. By the way, all of this new code is also available in the instructor notes for you to experiment with. First, I created a global object for AV Audio Engine, and then I initialized it in view.didLoad right here. So the step 1 in our pseudocode is done. Let me scroll down a little bit to show you some of the other changes I made in the play chipmunk audio action. Now remember that this is the method that actually runs when we press the chipmunk button. In here, I called a new function called play audio with variable pitch, and I passed in 1000 as the value of the pitch. I define this new function right here, and within this function, I make sure that I stop all audio before I play it back again. Then I create an object for something called AV Audio Player Node. So at this point, the step 2 in the pseudocode is done. The next step, step 3, is to attach the audio player node we just created to the audio engine. And I do that right here. Cool, we're making good progress. All right, so the next thing for us to do is to create an object of something called AV Audio Unit Time Pitch, which I do right over here. I updated the effects pitch to the argument this function was taking, which in this case is going to be 1000. So our audio is going to have a really high pitch. Okay, step 4 in our pseudocode is also done. And then I attach this pitch effect to the audio engine. So we're now done with step 5. Step 6 is about connecting the nodes to the audio engine. So I used audio engine's connect function to connect the audio player node to the pitch effect, and then the pitch effect to an output or the speakers. So at this point, step 6 and 7 in our pseudocode are done. Okay, finally I want to play the audio. To do this, I will use the audio player node's schedule file function. Now, curiously enough, this function schedule file takes in an argument called file, which is going to be our audio recording, and the type of this is AV audio file. I must admit at this point that we haven't created any object with this type previously. The closest thing we have to this AV audio file is at the very top of our program, which is this received audio. Now this thing contains an NS URL to our recorded voice. So what we need to do is somehow convert the NS URL contained within this to an AV audio file. So I Googled to figure out that I could do this by creating a global variable for AV audio file and then initialize this in the view.didLoad. Like that. You will notice that I created this AV audio file by using the received audio's NS URL. All right, now that I have the AV audio file, I can scroll back down and use the new AV audio file object right here. The other 2 arguments can be nil for now. Now I remember that the Stack Overflow page suggested that I then start the audio engine and finally play the audio player. All right, it's time to run this code and see if it works. I'm gonna hit record. Won't you take me to Funky Town? And then when I hit the chipmunk button,
won't you take me to Funky Town?
It works. All of this code is available in the instructor notes for you to play with. If you have any questions about any of the code over here, please ask us on the discussion forum.